Our oceans are in crisis. All you have to do is look at the front page of the Washington Post today if you want to see that continuing crisis. There's an article on the left-hand side of the Washington Post that talks about the fact that there are 20,000 beaches this last year that were either closed or put on advisories because of pollution problems. Turn to the third page, talks about filth in California ports. The LA Times is running a huge series on the problems dealing with our oceans. The reality is that we have some very serious problems. Our fisheries are being depleted. I mean, few people, President of the United States was stunned to find out that 90% of the large fish in the ocean are gone. 90% of the large fish in the ocean are gone. Our fisheries are being depleted, whether it's cod, whether it's salmon. In my hometown of Monterey, we had a huge sardine industry. That industry was largely wiped out and doesn't exist today as a result.
I don't trust the EPA. The EPA don't trust themselves. Take care of your groundwater. You can't drink salt water. It'll make you crazy. So I went to the EPA, to the people in charge of sludge as a fertilizer. Have you checked out the animal species? When you apply this stuff to the land, have you checked out that the worms and the voles that the spotted owl likes to feed on, that there's no uptake? No. Have you checked the rainfall modeling? Because when you spread something, if the land's not quite straight and it rains, it washes down, does it not? Have you checked the spiking? No. Have you checked the groundwater levels to the wells that people drink, to the population areas around where you're going to apply the stuff? No. If you use it, are you going to monitor it? Are you going to check it out, and make sure that it's actually working, your program? And the answer was, no. Ask me the same question. And I'll say yes, 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 yes.
Of the rule for H.R. 200, the Strengthening Fishing Communities and Increasing Flexibility in Fisheries Management Act, and it should be better called the Emptier Oceans Act. H.R. 200 really risks rolling back science, conservation efforts, destroying jobs, and will hurt our fisheries and fish stocks. It undermines successful, sustainable fishery management that were put in place by the Magnuson-Stevens Fishery Conservation and Management Act. And that's why so many fishermen, scientists, business owners have come out in opposition to the Empty Oceans Act. Many people whose livelihood comes from the sea have expressed reservations about the job-destroying provisions of H.R. 200 and how it poses a threat to commercial fishing industry and their jobs, which rely on sustainable practices. The Seafood Harvesters of America, the leading trade organization for fishermen, offered a letter expressing their concerns with the bill. Over 1,000 individuals and organizations. I had a number of fishermen come by my office today telling me that this bill could cost them their job. Since its passage, the goal of Magnuson-Stevens has never wavered, managing fisheries to ensure sustainability while, of course, realizing the potential of the resource. And Magnuson-Stevens takes a bottom-up approach to resource management, where stakeholders on regional fishery management councils work to meet the science-based criteria outlined by the law. And we have some success.
No one wants a healthier fish stock than those of us who have spent our lives on the water. That's where H.R. 200 comes in. This bill includes common sense reforms to ensure that our nation's fisheries remain strong while also being accessible to fishermen from every walk of life. Now, I know this bill is about much more than just those of us who like to fish recreationally. Commercial fishing is a major economic engine in many of our coastal communities. So the bill also ensures access to our oceans and ocean resources for our commercial fishermen. Just consider these numbers that demonstrate the overall impact of fishing on the U.S. economy. In 2015, the fishing industry generated $208 billion in sales and supported 1.6 million American jobs. Approximately 11 million saltwater anglers spent a total of $61 million on fishing trips, which generated roughly $22.7 billion in income. And I want to make one other point. The underlying bill will also ensure all Americans have access to fresh, sustainable seafood. That's important to our nation's restaurants, but it's also especially important to seafood lovers like myself.